Let's talk anime. Hello and welcome to Brandon's Discuss Anime, a Reckless Amoeba podcast. I am your host, Brandon Horvath, and with me are my co-hosts, Brandon Palinger.
Float like a bubble, sting like a bee, wasp. I don't know which. You know what? I don't think we even saw anything in this that's near what that is.
Hmm. Uh, I'll give you points for an attempt.
Yay! I
And
almost add them to the point throne.
the the game of points.
That's what every game is.
Except for whose line is it anyway?
Those don't matter.
Also with us, Ryan Stokely.
Yo, what's up, guys?
So it's kind of a bad month to be a 90s kid.
Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Kevin Conroy died, and also Jason David Frank. So
I thought I heard another one took his own life.
after
Oh, Power
Jason,
Ranger?
I thought so. I thought it was another Power Ranger.
I was
Really?
reading about it, and I believe it was Pwa Magasiva, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, really? I thought it was more recently. I thought it was like not long after Mr. Green Ranger.
Oh, really?
That's what I had heard, but I don't know. I didn't look too deeply into it.
Yeah, I know that Pwa was from one of the New Zealand seasons, but, obligatory suicide prevention hotline thing, if you know anybody who is dealing with things like that, you should really look into things like that.
Yeah, and if you yourself are, definitely try to seek help. You know, senseless loss of life is always the worst. There's so
Yeah.
much potential that people lose out on, or
And
even just the world as a whole.
yeah, and I know that Jason David Frank was in the middle of a production on a movie.
Yeah.
Maybe it got finished. That seems to be a mercenary who has suit powers.
So, speaking on maybe a slightly lighter note, I found out something interesting.
Uh,
So remember when we were watching Avatar: The Last Airbender,
he was a
and
voice.
no, not quite. Although this is might be something they might do similarly to Avatar.
Hmm.
So remember when Iroh was singing the "Leaves on the Vine" song about
Y-
his son?
yes.
So that portrait of Iroh's son was actually designed to look like a younger version of Mako. So he'd
Oh.
be cemented inside the show permanently.
Oh.
And on top of that, the guy that replaced Mako after he had passed refuses to sing that song on the grounds that it's Mako's song.
Oh.
It's an interesting tidbit. So I'd be curious if the show or the movie that Jason was working on, if they do something similar
I
to like kind of cement him in there.
I think it was like Legend of the White Tiger, no, White Dragon, and he was like the lead in the movie.
Hmm.
And I know, and this was like years ago that I heard they were working on this in various stages of completion, but it was kind of like the Expendables, except the entire cast was ex Power Ranger alum. So it seemed like a very interesting concept about like a group of mercenaries and like one betrays them and like spins off onto his own mercenary organization or something like that, but I am still waiting for that movie to be released in some form because it seemed really interesting
Hmm.
because I do like me some action movies.
Good old action.
And back to Kevin Conroy for just a minute. Has he recorded every bit of dialogue for Multiverses?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Because even you said like Raven is potentially coming, right?
I had heard she was part of the leaked list.
So
So
has
interactions
interactions.
between those two might exist already.
So when like future characters will be dropped that in like season 12 or something that they don't fully have plans for, will they need to do a Kevin Conroy impersonator or what?
Probably. Like the way I look at it and the way that I would have planned it if I were running the playing, right? I would have, and I think this is what they did for Smash actually, because at that point they hadn't finalized things. They had the announcer reading off a bunch of random names for characters that they were considering. So they might have done something similar for Kevin Conroy, where they have a bunch of line dialogues for potential characters that they might be planning to add already.
Okay.
Hmm.
That's the way Smash handled it with the announcer, like announcing different names.
So if you would data dump all of Smash Ultimate, you could find lines for, let's just say, Tifa from Final Fantasy.
For the announcer announcing Tifa, yes.
Hmm.
Maybe not Tifa's voice actress in there, but the announcer bringing her in, yeah.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I would like to know all of the unused dialogue to see who they were considering.
I'm sure you can find it. I'm not sure if it was leaked or if it was something that the announcer talked about when the final Smash DLC had been released. Because at that point, I think he would have been allowed to talk about stuff like that.
Yeah. So, guys, do you want to make this podcast beginning a little bit lighter? What's going on with you?
Ryan, you go first. I got a couple of
All right.
things in my back pocket right now.
Well, Thanksgiving morning, I got done work early, and I was putting my groceries in my car, and I tried to auto start it from far away, but it was too cold, so my car didn't auto start.
I hate that.
And yeah, so I put my groceries in passenger side, turn my car on, close the door, go around my driver's side, driver's door is locked. Went to my passenger side, the door is locked. So I locked my keys in my car while it was running.
Oh no!
What?
I did this like one other time, and the last time we did it, I did it. Me and this other guy spent like an hour and a half in like -degree weather trying to use baler wire to thread through. We almost got it a bunch of times. It just
Oh
wasn't strong
no!
enough. So I had to call the cops. And when this happened, I just called the cops immediately
Mm-hmm.
because I
Don't
don't have
even fuck with
AAA.
it.
Yeah. So it took them a little bit, but yeah, the cops were kind of poking fun at me.
I mean, I'm sure they do that to everyone who does
Yeah,
this.
it was pretty funny. And then this other guy that works in Peapod, he came over and he was like standing like next to the cop, like very close. Like literally touching the cop standing there.
Uh huh.
He was like trying to help them, and his hand, like he was just in the way.
Yeah.
And the one cop just like I was standing on the driver's side, and they were both on the passenger side.
Mm-hmm.
And there, the one cop looks at me. He's like, "Do you know this guy?" Like he was serious, and he looked very pissed off. And I'm
I
like, "Oh yeah,
mean,
I work with them." And then the other cop, like before that, the dude was like pointing at like where to hit the button or whatever, and the other cop like tried to whisper it, but he's just like to the other cop, he's like, "Can you tell that guy to move his fucking hand?"
like he's just kind of getting in the way.
Yeah, yeah. He just reminded me of the kid from Home Alone in the
Uh huh.
beginning, like where he's just like talking to the guy about the van.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But eventually they got it. And then the one cop's like, "Yeah, you can just get a key made like at Lowe's or Walmart." I'm like, "No, you can't, dude. They don't They don't make car keys for $5.
So, Orion, I've had the opposite problem.
You lock your keys outside of your car when you were inside.
No, my door refused to shut.
Oh God.
So when it gets super fucking cold out, and it's usually if it's raining and it or freezing rain, right? Something goes on where water must get into like the latch on my door.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as I manage to like pry open the door, cars like, cleaned off of ice and shit. As soon as I open that and get in and go to close it, the latch won't shut. So the door just bounces back open. And
Oh,
it's
God.
stuck like that. So either I have to find some way to heat that thing up so whatever ice is in there melts, or if it's not like sub-zero temperatures or whatever it ends up being, like, I don't know, 20 or something, I have to like slam the door hard enough to rattle it loose for a second to latch itself. It sucks. There have been times where I've had to been like, I literally can't leave for work because the door won't shut itself. And other times where it's like, I have to drive it halfway down, just hanging, like holding it there with one hand while I drive with the other. And eventually it shuts itself because the warmth of the actual like heated air starts blowing through. And eventually like thaws it enough that it'll close on its own when I slam it.
Damn.
It's infuriating. And it's only my driver's side that has this problem. Yeah, so yeah, I have the exact opposite problem of your door got shut and locked with you not in it. I get in it and mine won't stay shut.
I actually think you locking your keys outside of your car is more opposite than what you're describing, Brandon.
I mean, like, opposite as in his door shuts, mine won't.
Oh, I can maybe see that.
Also, locking my keys outside of my car with me in it makes no sense.
It would be funny.
It wouldn't
Like,
work.
I don't know how to get out of my car.
It literally would not work.
It's just one of those like Polish jokes, I guess. It would have to. That's the only way someone would be trapped in there.
Sir, help, I'm stuck in my car, help, sir.
Yeah, you suddenly turn into a fucking dog and you don't have opposable thumbs to undo the door.
You just forget all your faculties.
Alright, so, on to the shit I have. So I finally finished Shin Megami Tensei 5. I did all 4 endings. All interesting. I think I like my first one best.
Yes.
Which was, fuck all the demons. I'm making a world just for humans. Then, of course, when that happens, you're like, I'm going to do this. And then our good buddy Lucifer comes in and he's all like, hey, I like that idea that you're doing, but it's going to go away eventually, right? Shit's just going to revert back to the old way sooner or later. So, if you kill off this other thing, this, what is it? Like, he calls it a mandala system or whatever, where things reset themselves, it'll work out great. But in doing so, I also have to kill him. So I'm like, I don't know, man. Although when I defeat him, he does seem like he's saying something along the lines of like, good, maybe now I'll stay dead. Like he doesn't like living.
What's his character do?
What? Lucifer?
Oh. Lucifer, okay. Wait, what game is that?
Shin Megami Tensei 5.
I don't know if I've ever seen.
Which spun off into the Persona series.
Persona spun off from there. So yes, I've defeated that. I have been very happy. I beat that the other day. Now, have you heard of all the fun things going on with Pokemon, Orion?
No.
That shit has glitches galore going on in it.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Like clipping through places you shouldn't be able to clip through, falling through the ground, literally character models going insane and looking like they need an exorcist.
Wait, what Pokemon game is that?
The newest one, Scarlet and Violet.
Oh, really? It's like that jacked up, is it?
Yeah.
I don't even know what like the graphics look like that.
There is complaining about the graphics, but personally, as long as the style is fine and the gameplay is good, I can give a bit of a pass on graphics being, lower
Yeah.
fidelity than what people would want them to be.
Mhm.
Now, I started playing this about an hour ago. I finally booted up mine because I bought it. I had it pre-ordered, got a double pack because they had an extra one, and when I went to pre-order it myself, it was a day late, and they're like, "We're not accepting pre-orders." So I'm like, "Fuck it," and I pre-ordered one. I got there the day that it was released, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got an extra couple of them." I'm like, "Fuck it, give me it then. I'll take the double pack." So now I started playing Scarlet,
Oh,
and I
nice.
haven't run into any. I've run into one glitch, and it's one I haven't seen, at least in some of the highlight videos of this shit. There's one I haven't seen yet,
Oh
where
no.
I walked up to the TV in the starting house that you're in, right? And I
Mhm.
turned it on, and it's the one that's not in the characters room, but in like the main living room area of the house. I turned it on, and it's all like, "Oh man, sandwiches are delicious. You should go get sandwiches." And I'm like, "Cool." So that's the shtick with this one now.
It's just sandwiches.
In this one, it's just sandwiches. I'm kind of surprised it's not more Spanish related because in the last one, I think it was I think you were making like curry while you were camping. And this one, it's sandwiches for picnics, I guess.
Huh.
That's
So I'm
cool.
like, it's even funnier because curry was in the fucking English one. It was in Pokemon England.
Oh really?
Yes, curry was in Pokemon England. You make curry while you're camping.
Huh.
Now, apparently in this one, it's sandwiches. So I'm like, okay, I guess, cool, weird. It's not more Spanish, but then again, England had like not a Japanese, but like more of an Indian dish, I guess. So yeah, I walk up to that, and now all of a sudden my camera's locked, staring at the TV. I can move the character around just fine, but the camera does not want to move and follow my character. It's locked in position. I can turn it, what little I can turn it in a home area, but I can't, like, I can walk off screen and the camera's still stuck staring at the TV.
Must buy sandwiches. You must buy sandwiches.
I
Sandwiches are
don't like
delicious.
I had to finagle it for a bit. I kept like messing with the TV, being like, all right, do I have to turn off the TV to like unlock myself? And is this? Eventually I like I tapped on like a door that was next to the one wall, and it shifted the camera like, I don't know, maybe a foot, I would guess, to the left. Or no, to the right. And it like pulled back a little bit. And then I started moving the character, and then finally it broke off from staring at the door that time to following the character again. I'm like, okay, good. We're back. We're back. Okay, boys, we're good. So yes, I've run into one weird camera glitch so far. I'm excited and terrified to see what else I find.
Please keep us updated.
Oh, I plan on taking screenshots if I can. I don't know if I can send them from the Switch to Discord though.
Mm.
If not, I will take screenshots and then post that and retake pictures of said screenshots with my phone and send them to you guys. I'll be like, what the shit is happening?
And I'll be sure to maybe upload them on Twitter if Twitter doesn't go down in flames over the next few weeks.
Uh-huh. So I decided to go into this one as blind as I could. Which is what I did with the last couple of them. And do a blind Nuzlocke because I have no idea what I'm walking into. I know of a couple of Pokemon in here. Like apparently there's a Flamingo one. But I haven't hit that yet. However, I will give you the two Pokemon I currently have. Also, it's a bit more difficult to do a Nuzlocke in this because, like the Let's Go series, the Pokemon are just running around in the above world. In the overworld. So
Ah.
it's not like I can just walk into a pair of grass and it'll be fucking random as shit. So I'm just running around, and whatever one I accidentally run into is going to be the one I get. So this was my starter,
Okay.
Oh, the cat one.
I've seen that
the
one.
grass cat. And then let's see, what was the other one called? I pulled it up when there it is. I found the Pikachu clone, I believe, or the closest thing to it. And that's the one I ended up running into without even realizing it.
Huh.
What the hell?
I don't know. It says it's a mouse Pokemon, but it kind of reminds me a little more of a bear with like long ears.
Is it fire?
It's electric.
Oh.
I did double check just because I was curious on something. Apparently, it becomes of electric fighting, which is interesting.
Oh, cool.
Not a great combination since nothing's gonna get neutralized on that, but whatever.
True.
That's why it's a Nuzlocke.
Yeah.
Work with what you got.
So wait, is the new Pokemon games like third person, top down?
Third person.
weird- or not top down,
This
but
one.
like
This one they seem to have gone more or less open world.
Okay.
They did in what was it? They also did that in Pokemon Legends Arceus. And I was telling Brandon about this when I was finding the glitches the other day. And I was like, they had to have had two different teams working on this because none of this shit should be happening if they built it off of what Arceus already did. Like, I don't see how it would be. That kind of shit should be pretty locked in.
Because don't they use the same engine as Arceus or not?
I have no idea. I can only assume that they are, but they didn't use the code on top of the engine. Like, if they are using the same engine, they're not using the same code that decided what would allow something to not be clipped through or fall through the world or what have you. I will say I have noticed a lot of pop in. That's the only other thing I've noticed that, is annoying, but it's not a deal breaker or anything.
Huh.
Like, it'd be one thing if it just faded in. That'd be nice. But no, it's just all of a sudden I take a step and now there's a person there 30 feet away. He just popped into existence.
Holy shit, where did you come from?
It's like, do you exist when I'm not here? I don't know. They're just all coming out of pocket dimensions.
Pocket monsters.
Exactly.
But they're not popping out of Pokeballs. They're popping out of nothing.
Well, what is the anime for this week?
Okay, Ryan. Today's anime is the 2022 movie Bubble.
Bubble.
Not to be confused with the Judd Apatow movie, also from 2022 called The Bubble.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't see either of them. So that's all I get, the bubble.
No, you're thinking of the other movie. We are just talking about Bubble.
It is just the word bubble. That is the only thing for a title. There's no way he's going to figure this out. Absolutely no way.
Yeah, I don't know. Either takes place in the future, there's like a city in a bubble, or
All right, you know what? You got something there.
Holy shit.
That last one was actually you're not too far off on that.
Holy shit, how did you do that?
I don't know. It's just
The
first
ass
thing I
pull is
thought
real.
of. Yeah, that's maybe I don't know, fucking space radiation happens and they have to like protect, kind of like the Simpsons movie
Maybe.
where they trap Springfield in a bubble because Homer puts the the nuclear waste. They tell him not to, and it just like makes Springfield too toxic, so they have to put a bubble over it.
Wasn't it like a silo of pig shit?
It was some, yeah. They
I
had. the
I don't
pig.
remember this.
Wilbur. I think it was Wilbur the pig too. I think that's what they named it, or was that Spider Pig? I don't know.
Harry Plopper.
Harry Plopper, yes. I just remember the stop signs where Homer just kept painting "sop" instead of "stop" because he doesn't know how to spell.
SMRT. Am I
But-
right?
Yeah. Yeah. But that's my guess.
I think the pig is now established lore in The Simpsons.
I think so.
I'm
But
gonna take your word for it.
but no, this deals with a lot of parkour.
Oh, parkour.
Hardcore parkour.
Yes, like when we first saw the trailer for this, Brandon, I wasn't expecting this much parkour.
Not at all.
No, because it's Gen Oribuchi.
I'm honestly surprised it wasn't darker.
Yeah, because
This is a lot lighter than I thought it would be.
yeah, because Orobuchi is called the Oro Butcher because horrible things tend to happen in his anime.
I am going to be a little annoyed at this because there's a lot of shit that isn't exactly answered in this movie that they set up and they don't have an answer for.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this seems to be somewhat of the Little Mermaid.
A little bit like the original, not the Disney one, but like the original Little Mermaid.
Hans Christian Andersen.
Yeah. Good old Fate Go Buddy.
Yep.
Good old Hans with his tablet that he now writes on instead of a book and quill.
How did you feel about the intro, Brandon? Like the opening credits?
Like what part specifically?
Like the music?
I like the music in this a lot. It's really nice.
Yeah, like I just felt like the intro song was like a perfect anime music intro.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If they would have turned this into a series rather than a movie, I would say like it's like the perfect music for an anime opening.
They definitely have to cut it down a bit because that was a good like 2-minute intro. It felt like
I think
it'd have to be cut down to like 30 to 45 seconds.
I think like 3 minutes because hey, this was a movie intro.
Mm-hmm. I mean, other than them having to like cut it down a bit, yes, it's a very good intro.
So Ryan, how do you feel about parkour?
I will say because they do
It's
use
neat.
like they do use stuff from the actual like show to try and like show some of this stuff off, and none of it spoils anything. Like it's so weirdly disconnected that you would never be able to guess what it's about, even from the intro.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a parkour game in the flooded city called the Battle Core.
So before we start getting into the actual like storyline beats, right? I feel like it'd be better to set up like just the history of how things came to be the way they are,
Okay.
right? Without revealing the final spoiler at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, I don't know. Did they ever give us a year of when this is taking place?
Not in a year, but the events leading up to it happened 5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years prior to the story, but we don't actually have a year that this takes place in. Then
No.
okay. That's what I was curious about if I'd missed something. So about 5 years prior to the story, a bunch of like bubbles just kind of rain down from the sky around the world, and nobody really knows where they came from or why. And don't ask questions; we don't ever find out.
Not
Okay.
around the world, mostly around Tokyo.
I thought it was around the world, and then once those started to pop, the ones specifically in Tokyo kept increasing.
You might be right on that. I thought it was just around Tokyo because wasn't Tokyo Tower the central point of the...
It was, but like I said, I think that's when it's like it condensed in the one area after like the ones around the world kind of like started dissipating.
Ah.
Anyway, they started falling there, and again, like I said, they condensed in Tokyo or around Tokyo, and most of the rest of it kind of like seemed to fade or dissipate away or pop or what have you. And then we had a massive explosion in Tokyo Tower, and as the bubbles there started like falling around, Tokyo started flooding. So now what we're left with is what looks to be a in the middle of exploding Tokyo Tower for some reason. a bunch of weird gravitational rifts that are like either in the water or in the air in certain places, and a bunch of floating debris because of the weird gravitational phenomenon in the area.
And Tokyo is surrounded by a giant bubble dome.
Yep.
So
Okay.
you were kind
So
of right.
the capital of Japan is no longer Tokyo because they're like, we did tests, didn't work, fuck it, we're gonna abandon it.
So you were right, Ryan, that it deals with a city in a bubble.
So a bunch of kids started moving into the city, into Tokyo, and started looting stuff at first, and then like that went from using parkour to loot shit and get out to like actual people living there and getting around via parkour, and thus became the battle parkour that we are now talking about in the series.
The Battle Core.
Yep.
Battle.
Get the flag and win resources.
Yep. Get past your starting point. Get the flag wherever it's set up at the end of whatever zone. You wager your supplies versus your opponent's supplies, and winner take all, essentially. They don't really have a tournament set up, though it seems like there should be one based on the way that it works.
Maybe?
Yeah, it seems like there should be some kind of tourney set up, but they never show anything like that.
So our main team we follow is the Blue Blazes.
Totally not BlazBlue. Not at all. Don't ignore it.
I haven't played BlazBlue, and I really want to. It looks fun.
It's a fighting game. If you like fighting games, you'll like that.
With awesome rock music.
I've tried BlazBlue. It's still just a fighting game. I will say they're kind of ham-fisted when they first explain the rules, but I mean, I guess how else are you gonna really deliver it? You just got one guy being like, "I'm a rookie. I don't understand how it works again. Can you explain it to me?" And you got one of the other teammates on one of the they're on a different team, right? It's not the Blue Blazes; it's a separate team. But he explains to his rookie partner what the fuck he doesn't understand again, thus explaining it to us because we need to know.
And everybody's going, "Where's Hibiki? The game can't start without him. It's 5v5."
Yeah, it's 5v5 on this parkour race.
Oh, is it like one of those? What the hell are they called? Where they hand off the baton?
No, it is a 5v5
just-
free for all. Get to the flag, and if you get
Oh.
knocked into the water, you're out.
Oh.
So
Wait,
it's, it's a flooded city.
Oh, it's a city. Okay, I was about to ask, did they make a course? in
Nope,
the
it is
city?
a flooded city that has like a bunch of stuff that has crumbled and shit. So 5 years of being flooded and neglected have taken its toll on the infrastructure.
Oh, damn.
So things crumble.
And some blonde kid is going off on his path, jumping off of bubbles, which are oddly springy.
It depends on what they're made of, but yeah, it might not be regularly like, soap bubbles.
Yeah, so he jumps and crashes through a bit of...
We should also
high-
point out, right, that like nobody seems to be able to really handle the bubbles other than this Hibiki guy that we will meet shortly.
And
So the blonde kid trying to jump onto the bubble does not work out for him. He can't really handle it, and it throws him in a completely different direction.
And he falls into a bit of highway in disrepair and crashes through
Building,
it.
actually.
Oh, okay. And,
Yeah, because there was a window right next to him, and he
and-
starts hanging from like what I think is a power line.
And then
That was, in the
Hibiki
wall.
manages to save him with style.
Yeah, he's also hanging over, what do they call it, an antlion pit?
Yeah.
I don't know why it's called that, but it's like a weird gravity whirlpool.
And
Because
what-
it literally yanks his goggles off his head with the pole
And what's the
Damn.
other
as he's like
name?
hanging above it.
What's the other pit's name?
For whatever reason, they called it a spider web. So the antlion ones are in the water, and the spider webs are in the air. The spider webs, for lack of a better term, are probably just straight up little black holes.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume that there's the water versions of the same thing, but under the water.
Yeah, so Hibiki saves the kid and wins the match.
Yep, bouncing off of bubbles all the while. Apparently, he has super sensitive hearing, and he can hear the sound of the bubbles, whatever that means. And by super sensitive hearing, I mean he's constantly got to wear like earmuffs, otherwise he's overloaded with sound.
Okay.
And all these competitor kids are orphans because either their parents died or they abandoned their parents to live in flooded Tokyo.
That's my assumption.
And then we meet Best Girl Makoto, who is a scientist studying the gravitational anomalies.
Mm-hmm. So they have a little home base. It's a Japanese Coast Guard boat that the Blue Blazes stay in, along with Makoto and I think sometimes Shin. I'm not sure because he's there sometimes, but I don't know if he's ever slept there or if he just visited.
Okay.
Anyway, I guess none of them are old enough to drink, but apparently Makoto is, because some of the stuff they want included beer.
And what's the drinking age in Japan? Isn't it 18?
I'm not actually sure. Although one of them has a bottle that almost looks like a Corona Light. It's the one in the glasses. It looks like he's almost got a Corona Light in his hand. Let me take a screenshot of that quick.
20 is the legal drinking age in Japan. So Makoto is older than 20.
Alright. I'm just going to do this. No, damn it. No. Alright, let me snag a small little snippet right there. Alright, you tell me. Does this not look like a bottle? Oh, of course not. Why?
That is totally a Corona bottle.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Looks
I don't
like
know if he's old enough to drink, but that looks like a Corona bottle to me. Also, is the one thing that the little blonde kid pulls out of the package, is that a bunch of Umaibo?
I think it might be.
Because that's what it looked like. That's the first thing that it hit me. Is like, wait a minute, are those Umaibo? What are those?
Good thing you know what Umaibo are, because I did not get that.
I mean, it could have just been the way it was packaged, I guess, or the way it was like drawn to look. But it looked like Umaibo to me because it looked like little mini packages like that they were in.
We should really do Umaibo Part 2, because...
I don't think anything's going to beat the sweet corn.
Yeah, because there's like 30 flavors and we only did like 7 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
So it seems like Makoto has a very weird crush on Hibiki, considering he's underage and she's not. Now, granted, I don't know what the age differential here is, but could be creepy.
yeah. So Hibiki is...
Also, I should point out the other guy, other main guy on the crew, Kai, really likes Makoto, and he hates the fact that she seems to be way more fond of Hibiki than him. So there's that dynamic.
So Hibiki hears something coming from Tokyo Tower, so he decides to investigate.
He says outright that he hears singing, and it's always the same thing every time. Like, this isn't new. He's heard it before.
Do, 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 do.
You're not doing that song justice.
I know. Wait. Isn't that kind of like the, what is that? Like Close Encounters of the Third Kind music?
I
I
don't
haven't watched
think
that in a
so.
couple years, so I forget what it sounds like.
Yeah, so as he's parkouring his way to Tokyo Tower, he gets knocked down and gets stuck to a subway car that's still operational?
So what he tries to do is get up the tower. He gets to a certain point, and he's like, I can always get to about here. And then he tries to get higher, and for whatever reason, the gravitation in there starts throwing him around because it's not consistent. Like, he jumps up, and all of a sudden the gravity's throwing him in a different direction, and it ends up He tries to like jump on a bubble and fling himself, but because of the way the gravity is working, it throws him back down.
Oh damn.
Oh, one of the spider webs opens up in there. That's why. Ha! That's exactly why. Because he loses the knife he uses to carve like the marks, showing how many times he's gotten that high. He loses the knife and it falls into the spider web, and it looks like it's literally shredded as it gets eaten by the thing. But that throws him and whips him into the water. And when that happens, yeah, he gets whipped into all the other shit that's underwater, including like a motorcycle, some cars, and then he gets caught inside of a subway train being thrown around. And his shirt gets caught, and he can't unhook himself.
And a sentient bubble comes along and helps him?
Seems like it.
And the bubble merges with his air bubble and
So
becomes human.
I'm sorry. I couldn't not imagine this, right? Because as like the last gasps come out of him, his bubble gets eaten by like the other bubble, the sentient one, and you see it multiply, like literally cells doing what is it, fusion or whatever, where they split and multiply. I'm like, did he just inseminate that bubble? Is that what just happened here? Those words literally left my mouth. Because suddenly a girl is born from like the sentient bubble and his bubbles meeting. Which makes this entire movie even weirder if that's what has just happened.
So the bubble girl saves Hibiki?
The bubble girl that might be his half child, maybe. Yeah.
And she reaches out to touch Hibiki, and her finger becomes bubbles.
So here's what I don't understand. And this is the biggest problem I have, is that when she first forms out of the bubbles and becomes a person, she kisses him, she holds him, she touches him. None of the I'm turning into bubbles happens that first time. For whatever reason, every time after that, nope.
Maybe it was because she was underwater. Wait, no, the ending.
I was going to say, so did I, until the ending happened, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's bullshit. That means it's not that. So what's the reason? Explain to me, movie.
Maybe because she was underwater and didn't come up on land, and then everything since she came up on land is affecting her?
But when going back into the original bubble, in the ending, have restored her then?
Plot hole.
It feels like it. Anyway, Shin finds the two of them and drags them back. Apparently the girl can't talk.
She's mute?
Apparently she doesn't know language.
Oh, okay.
She also seems kind of... I was about to say, she seems kind of feral, because she kind of runs around like a cat for a while before she starts really learning the parkour techniques.
Yeah.
Which she's like a natural at parkour? Or...
Oh, yeah.
Yep, for sure. I mean, she was already very agile to begin with, moving quickly like a cat and moving as a cat would.
Yeah.
But after that, yeah, she starts picking up parkour to move even more smoothly. Like, literally, when I say like a cat, she's running on all fours at certain points. She also shoves her hand into, like, boiling water, which they yank out and then shove into cold water to cool it off. But it looks like there's no burns. So, that's good.
Yeah.
Also, she touches other people, I just realized. And she doesn't turn into bubbles. It's only Hibiki.
Could this be a Little Mermaid thing? Because they do...
I have no idea. I have not read the original, and I could not tell you.
Because they do have a recap of the story of Hans Christian Andersen's Little Mermaid, where the mermaid turns into sea foam after touching the prince.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's something to do with love?
Maybe. I don't know. It's very strange, though. Like, I would get the idea of paying the homage to it, but it also doesn't make sense in the context of its own world then.
Maybe?
Like, it doesn't make sense in the context of the world Bubble is taking place in. The problem is there's no consistency. With the Little Mermaid, it's like magic or some shit.
We just don't know if this is space bubbles or
See, that's the thing. We don't know. It could be space bubbles. I don't know. It could be space balls, man.
space balls. We ain't found shit. Comb the beaches.
Oh, so she can't sleep, so she decides to visit Hibiki, and she just watches him sleep. She reaches out to touch his cheek, and she turns into more bubbles.
See, here's the thing. At first, I didn't know if she could sleep.
Oh.
She's not human. I didn't know if she could sleep at all. But yeah, she double checks by touching him again to see if she also turns still into bubbles, and yep, it bubbles up more.
Her skin bubbles, or
like bubbles start forming on the top of her skin of one hand, whatever hand touched it.
What kind of bubbles are we talking here?
Bubbles, I guess.
Like soapy looking bubbles.
Soapy looking bubbles. Yep.
Right.
This
Not
isn't
like...
anything Junji Ito grotesque bubbles.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So she gets a glove, I guess, from Makoto, which she puts on to hide the bubbles. Which again, Makoto being a scientist, I'm surprised she wasn't like, "What the fuck's that?"
Yeah. So Hibiki names her Uta, meaning song.
Because she started singing at one point.
Yeah, and she's causing more trouble. Like chasing down chickens and crushing eggs with her bare hand.
Because she doesn't understand what any of that shit is.
She's wild.
And then she eats breakfast.
Yep.
Toast and eggs that she destroyed.
Because I don't understand how she can eat when she's, made of bubbles, apparently.
Yeah, how do you digest as a bubble?
I don't know.
Huh.
Valid question.
Yeah. So Shin reveals that he has a metal leg, that he was a parkour person, but an incident at Tokyo Tower took his leg.
Mm-hmm. We also find out that he might have also lost his wife and daughter.
5 years ago.
Yeah, in the original explosion, I think. Because I think when we see the flashback, I think we see them there.
And then we have another parkour battle between the Mad Lobsters and the Undertakers.
So here's my question, all right? Because the
Yes.
Undertakers are weird. They all have like weird beak masks with one like eye on the front of it, right? They also have like these fancy ass like water jet shoes, which I'm very curious how they work because they don't really explain it.
And they have like synthesized voice systems.
Here's the
Well,
thing,
they're
I don't know if
parkour.
that's the case.
They just
So-
wear all this extra shit.
They
What's that?
kind of cheat.
They said they got a sponsor, so somebody sponsored them. They're trying to like make the battlecore thing go viral, essentially, as a thing. So they got someone to sponsor them and like get those shoes, I guess, made up.
All right.
Here's what I don't understand is how they work, right? Because clearly it shoots out jets of water to make the jumps like extra strong, correct?
Yes.
Where's the reservoir for the water and how much does it store? Because you should only have a finite amount of jumps with those. And that's shooting
Dude.
out quite a bit of water per one.
Dude, come on, man.
I did make up an excuse in my brain to be like,
quit
all right,
looking in the
maybe...
stuff, man. Just don't mind the shoes. Stop poking holes in these people's movies.
Look, man, all right, I want consistency. All right, so I will say I did come up with an idea that might work, and it might be that the shoes somehow absorb the humidity or like the moisture in the air as they're doing the parkour to refill the reservoirs.
Okay.
In which case, they essentially have an infinite amount of water that they could absorb, considering we're in a flooded city.
And what about these synthesized voices?
I don't know if they're synthesized, right? Like
They sound robotic.
No, they do, but I don't know if it's them. Like none of them talk. Well, I should say it's only the one that has that like weird synthesized voice, right? None of the other ones talk. They all talk, actually. I lie. They all talk. because during one of the parkour tournaments, that synthesized voice talks, and they all say Roger. I think that's like the only line we get out of any of them is them like saying Roger to whatever that voice says. So my question becomes, is that synthesized voice specifically from that one guy, or is it someone else giving them the orders?
Huh.
Because they're like moved to like area Sigma or whatever, and I'm like, do the masks have like mapped out zones that they've like named, or did they memorize the thing? What the fuck did they do? Because they also have drones filming everything. So at the same time, I'm wondering if there's someone coordinating them and talking to them through their like earpieces or what have you.
Filming
Using,
for
like, synthesized
YouTube.
voice. Yeah. So yeah, I'm wondering if there's like some coordinator that we never actually saw that's giving them orders as to where to go and what to do.
Maybe?
Also, for some reason, they have these shoes, and that's not against the rules because nobody else has those things. Don't know why they allowed that in there for the sake of fairness.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up.
Yeah. So late night. Uta.
No.
Yeah, Mad
That
Lobsters lose,
sucks.
by the way, if you didn't already figure
know.
that out. Yeah, they get trounced.
Yeah. So late one night, Uta can't fall asleep, and she gets read The Little Mermaid.
Yep,
Oh,
and we'll
okay.
refer back to this pretty
So that's why
consistently.
you mentioned that before.
Yep.
I'm like, because that's like a very obscure reference
Mhm.
of like the Little Mermaid. If like people turning the bubbles because they're in love or whatever.
Yep.
Each person-
So yeah, Uta
now.
the next morning points at
Hibiki.
points at Hibiki and says, "You're the prince. I'm the Little Mermaid." Essentially, it's a little bit more simplistic, like Prince Hibiki, Uta Mermaid, or what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still comprehending language slowly.
And he teaches her parkour.
We have parkour montage as she's also
Yes.
learning about the world, reading books and such.
And Hibiki has a rooftop garden.
Also, Uta apparently has secret bubble powers because she's sprouting bubbles from her hands that take shapes and makes like a little galaxy out of all of them.
And a little mermaid dancing with a prince.
Yep, at the center of the galaxy. Yep.
Did she make one that looked like giraffe?
I think
was
there was
actually
like
no.
a stuffed bear in one of them, actually.
What?
I just think of Patrick.
There's a
But-
turtle.
Giraffe.
There's a turtle. There's a car. There's like a milk carton in there. I think a rocket ship.
She's just
A
like
little hammer. A cup.
shooting bubbles out of
fish.
her hand.
It's just bubbling up out of her hands. Apparently, she's got bubble powers.
And she's not using up any of her matter because she's like shooting bubbles out?
Apparently not.
Hmm.
Also, I want to point out again, it's just Hibiki because there's a point where Uta and Makoto are spooning here under the covers, so they can both sleep on the couch that's in their room, and she ain't popping into anything.
So 5 years ago, on the day of the explosion, Hibiki was on the top of Tokyo Tower observation deck, and he heard a song.
Mm-hmm.
The same song that always seems to come from Tokyo Tower that he keeps hearing.
Also, I forget if they said he was the lone survivor or if he was just one of the survivors.
I think he was a survivor.
So there was more than one. Yeah, I can see a couple of people there. The question would be, was anyone from Tokyo Tower specifically, or was it just the area around it when they're referring to survivors? That's what I'd be curious about. They don't tell you that specifically, but I would have been curious to know.
So then they have a little musical interlude parkour dance.
Yep, parkour dancing. It's neat. Also, oh yeah, we also forgot. Uta found a little shell that, like a little baby conch shell that Hibiki had found washed up nearby, and he thought it was rare, so he kept it. And Uta hears the ocean through it and really likes it. Thus, then leading into the whole dance thing.
Yeah, and we find out that gravity has been even more unstable ever since the day that Uta showed up.
Yep. We also get a flashback with Hibiki and all of his problems while learning about his overly sensitive hearing.
And like the day he got the headphones and how he was in the like special needs area.
Essentially, like it was a bunch of the same people, like with the same problem.
Okay.
Like they all had overly sensitive hearing, and they all had to wear like earmuffs or headphones or what have you to kind of like help drown the sound out, to dull it to them.
And Makoto gets kidnapped by the Undertakers.
Yeah, and they put it on their YouTube page saying our first kidnapping, because that totally wouldn't get taken down instantly.
What the hell? Yeah, that's like drill rappers. Like, I just like rapping about shooting a dude or going to shoot him. They do, and then they use the video.
Mm-hmm.
Makoto is the prize.
Yep. Well, that and all of like the wagered foodstuffs and such. And they just leave her on like a crane, dangling from like on a platform that the crane is holding up. She's just kind of stuck there, just being like, I hate this. This is the worst. Get me the fuck down from here. It's fucking scary.
So they have a parkour battle race, and Yuta uses a... Oh.
They have brought Uta in
Mhm.
on this group now, and they left out the older looking guy with the dreads. Some of the guys I don't think we ever really get names for.
No. In the past few days, Uta has been learning about spirals and like mathematical things, learning about, spirals are a part of human nature, and
Well, it's a big thing
the
of like
Fibonacci thing.
a little bit of like just galactic history, or I should say universal history of just like, you know, spirals. Like we separate out, we come back together again. The idea of like we were all once part of stars. The stars blew up, scattered our atoms. We came back together as who we are now, you know, and through various cycles on and off and on and off again.
Okay.
Right?
so she uses a spiral black hole thing to grav boost her way around it and uses like the gravity to get a boost.
Well, this is after the Undertakers take out two of the partners right away. So it's only Uta, Hibiki, and Kai left. And they get trapped next to there where they can't exactly jump away easily because of that thing. Because of the antlion hole.
Yeah.
So yeah, Uta uses her magic bubble power to like try and give them some platforms with the bubbles to jump off of. And Kai gives Hibiki the boost he needs to reach the first one. And Kai must have found a way to like shimmy himself slowly off of there, because he's also running alongside them later from a distance yet.
And Hibiki just flings Uta up, and
Well, Hibiki grabs onto like the bottom of the crane, has Uta like come to him, throw her hand so he can like leverage her and hurl her upward, right?
and she loses her entire arm.
Yep, there goes the entirety of the other arm, because now it's all bubbles.
Her whole arm is just bubbles now?
I disperses, like it's not even there anymore.
Oh, okay.
Like I think it's everything up until just below or just above the elbow is gone.
Damn.
And there's just like little bits of bubble like where the appendage should have continued.
She doesn't like
rather than
bubbles
blood, it's
and-
just bubbles around. She can't, as far as I'm aware. She hasn't tried anyway to
Yeah, just
reform her hand.
as a solid bubble.
You'd think. She can make shapes of them. Why not make a bubble hand?
Yeah, I would have. Jesus
Yeah.
just doesn't understand how her powers work, bro. It's
And then Uta has a vision.
Oh yeah, there's an awesome scene. Sorry, I wanted to cut that.
Okay.
There's an awesome scene of Uta and Hibiki literally running as a building is falling on top of them,
Oh, that was awesome.
and then power sliding out at the end before they get crushed.
Oh,
Like
that was
Indiana Jones
amazing.
style almost. It's really good.
That was so
and
fun.
then flipping off of that onto like more floating platforms.
Yeah, and then was it that night when Uta had her vision?
I'm skimming through. I'll give you a second. It's that night where they're having the party, and she's like, yeah, because she's gone off to the garden, and it starts having that vision. Yeah.
And that scene seemed very Orobuchi because it's like,
Oh,
ooh, is this gonna get dark all of a sudden?
okay. So before we get there, Orion,
Yeah.
who sponsored this show? Who sponsored the movie? Where's the what product placement do we have? Take some guesses.
Coke.
You got your first one.
Really?
For sure.
Oh
Yep.
my god.
There's a shit ton of Coke.
Okay. Goodyear tire.
Nah. You 1-0.
I need to
One
think
and-
of a
one
more
and zero.
global thing. McDonald's.
Nope.
Uh,
You think drinks?
Drinks. Okay. Monster.
Nope.
Rockstar.
Wait, hold on. Is I'm gonna spoil this one here. Is Fanta a Coke product?
Yes.
Okay, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
Coke, Fanta. There's a Sprite.
I was gonna say Sprite, but I wasn't
think
sure.
There's, I think that's Owly Water or something like that. Thunder Beer was one of the other ones that was was earlier in here.
So they actually use real thing. Wow.
It's literally a drawn Coke can and Coke bottles and Fanta shit. There's probably some other ones in here, but it's Japanese writing, so I'm not recognizing the brand.
Not Corona though.
No, the Corona one I swear is what it is, but it doesn't say it. It doesn't say Corona. You saw it. It looks exactly like a Corona bottle.
Yes, it does.
Also, Diamond Cheese is another one. Diamond brand cheeses.
Yeah.
Is that real?
I don't know, but that's what's written on the tin that Hideki grabbed a wedge out of.
The wedge of cheese.
He grabbed an individually wrapped wedge of cheese, and the tin in front of him says Diamond Brand 6 cheese.
Uh,
Drinks a Coke.
I missed that, but is it Black Diamond or just Diamond?
The tin is blue, but it is not a black color. It only says Diamond Brand 6 cheese.
Okay, because there is a Black Diamond brand cheese.
Maybe it's that, but it is a blue tin, not a black tin.
Hmm.
Maybe they really liked that cheese. They couldn't get.
It could be. Here, I'll give
cheese.
you the little screenshot bit here. Oh hey, my right click worked that time. I don't know why.
Huh.
Does your mouse like double click sometimes?
No, it's only in Discord. I've tried it on other things and it works just fine.
That is
My
weird.
my mouse like double clicks and it actually it does that. It's Discord. I try to minimize the box, and it doesn't do anything. It just double clicks it and makes it big again.
There's a bunch of other snacks too. There's like some potato chips and some other stuff, but I'm not 100% sure what the
Doritos?
brands are. There are a
Doritos,
lot.
Hot Pockets. We'll see.
I saw some Pop-Tarts in the back there.
Gamer Fuel. I'm just
Pretty
thinking
sure I
like
saw some cheese.
Ooh, cheese.
Could have been that Umaibo too. I don't know. It was Japanese writing. That could have been Umaibo sponsoring them.
Yeah.
There's plenty of ramen too. Might have been a ramen brand sponsoring.
So Uta has a vision calling her back to the ocean,
Back
and
to the tower, actually.
I was just like, oh my god, is this where it's going to get dark? Is this where Orobuchi will shine? No, not really.
I mean, maybe in the sense of like potential existential horror, maybe. But even that, I'm like, I'm really stretching what's going on here.
Yeah, and Orobuchi isn't really horror, somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it is a creepy, like, almost Eye of Sauron looking thing.
A little bit.
It's like this big red bubble that with like a design on it.
Think, you know what? Here, I can literally just do this. Here, boop. Nope, didn't work. All right,
Oh,
back to Control V then. Like that kind of weird looking thing. Almost like you mix the ISR in with like a weird ass star with bubbles rotating all around it.
Where's
Mhm.
that at?
That's like a vision she gets while staring at Tokyo Tower.
So Tokyo Tower is like just crumbled and stuff.
Tokyo Tower
They
looks like
rebuilt
it's in
it.
the middle of exploding. Like for whatever reason, it looks like time has frozen with
Okay, I
it.
was about to say stop.
Mm-hmm.
and then the second bubble fall starts.
Well, I mean, this is before Hibiki's all like, "I love you," or like next thing to saying it. You know,
Yeah.
brings out the shell that she was so interested in and has turned it into a pendant that she can wear. You know, he's like, the day you showed up, I became me. And as he goes
Yeah.
to like try and like cup her face, just she's flinching back because she knows she's gonna turn into bubbles the minute like any kind of skin touches. Here's my question, right? If he touches the gloved hand, is that also gonna turn to bubbles or not? Because they're not touching skin at that point.
Maybe it's like skin on skin contact.
That's what you would
Bubbles.
think, because she never tries to touch him at all with just the gloved hand.
Like it could be a chemical reaction.
That could be the idea of you're popping the bubbles, but again, it's just Hibiki that gets this reaction, no one else.
Huh. Okay.
And there's no reason given.
And then we find out that it was Uta who saved Hibiki 5 years ago.
Yep. Apparently, when she was still just a bubble, she managed to like help it. Like as the tower exploded, they, I guess, saved him from the fall. Like gently brought him down. The explosion itself, the impact had knocked him unconscious, but the bubbles had like come together that Uta was using, I guess, as her normal bubble self, and gently put him down.
Damn.
So Tokyo Tower is projecting this song that only Uta and Hibiki can hear.
That's
Mhm.
weird.
Well, Uta's got the super sensitive hearing, so that's kind of his
Okay.
justification. And Uta's part of the bubbles, so
And it's like, is it calling to people?
it doesn't seem like it.
Maybe
Like, not
just
intentionally.
to them?
I think it's not intentional. I think it's just there just happen to be, well, Hibiki anyway, just happens to be able to hear it because of his sensitive hearing. Like, if anything, it might be trying to call out to Uta, since she's kind of from it, essentially. And Hibiki can just happen to overhear it.
And despite being assholes earlier, the Undertakers are saying, hey, you can borrow our boots.
You are way ahead right now.
Oh, I am?
You are jumping way ahead.
I must have
Like-
missed the scene then.
You missed the scene where Uta runs off to go back to the bubbles, like the main core of Tokyo Tower.
Oh,
You completely left that out.
oh.
Not to mention Hibiki trying to chase after her and then getting attacked by red bubbles, which apparently are malevolent for some reason and stick to you, that throw him into the water. And then the crew coming up with apparently their boat that can move, which, we kind of assumed with the way it looked that it was not going anywhere anytime soon. Them rescuing him from being pulled into one of the ant lion holes.
Okay.
And then him being like, "Oh, I'm gonna go get Uta." I'm sure she went to the tower, or went to the tower. And then eventually him being like that, convincing the rest of the team, even though Shin is like, "No, you shouldn't go. It's dangerous." And then Makoto being like, "Oh man, Battle Core is all about independence, man. Isn't that what you told me?" And he's like, "God damn it, I guess you're right." So yes, now they're all going to. We also get them getting given the boots as they leave by the other team.
Yeah.
Who I guess one they helped rescue, and two they beat. So some respect, I
They're-
guess.
The little water jet boots.
Yeah.
Yep. I guess
Oh,
the
shit.
little synthesized voice also asks if they want to purchase it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't free.
And they bought it.
apparently, because they are wearing them after that.
Wow.
They also say good luck, so they're not complete assholes.
Hey, look, I didn't say
Oh
they
my
didn't,
God.
give them a good discount or anything. Might have only cost them 100 yen a pair. I don't know.
That's not bad.
That wouldn't be bad. Although why they'd have to pay it all, I don't know.
Yeah, they definitely cause the inconvenience.
Considering they saved their lives.
Yeah. So Gravity is getting way super fucky.
Yeah, we get the scene of Uta entering the main bubble that's over the in progress time frozen explosion at Tokyo Tower.
Mm-hmm. And he's like trying to climb up to the top, but Gravity keeps tossing him around, and he gets some help from Shin.
Yep, Shin shows up. They've gotten way further than Hibiki has ever gotten before. They're almost to like the observation deck. There's like a little trail of fragments of the shattered building or the tower leading up to it. And Shin shows up in his parkour suit and is like, I'll show you as far as I got to. Because I believe he was just short of the observation deck.
Yes.
There are some things that Shin says that makes me wonder, like, was he aware of what was going on in there? Right?
Oh.
Like, only you can save her. I couldn't, or something like that. Right? I'm like, wait a minute, what are you talking about? You seem to know more than you should here. But yeah, they get Shin to show them the way. They manage to get across as things are breaking up. 3 of them end up staying behind. Kai and Hibiki get pushed forward as they like hold one of the, I think it was like one of the railings that went along the side before it gets sucked into the spider webs that are up there.
And Shin gives him one final boost, which shatters his metal leg.
So hold on. I wanted to mention this first. So the first thing is Kai gives him a boost, right? Kai cups his hands for Hibiki to step into it and bounce off. And my first thought was, cool. Except the water jet goes off, and I feel like with the pressure that would have, it should rip his hands apart.
Oh, God.
Like, unless he literally cupped it and only the toe was in there, that maybe you could get away with. Especially considering the fact that, like you said, Shin goes onto his back, and Hibiki comes in, and they land foot to foot. And Hibiki springboards off of his feet, and that literally, as he's using the water push, shatters Shin's metal leg.
Dang.
So I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. Shouldn't that have, like, torn a hole in Shin's leg? And, like, Kai's arm? That's strong that it shatters a metal prosthetic?
You know, like, if this was full Orobuchi, I would have expected Kai's arm to be ripped off via the water pressure force. Because, like, a heroic sacrifice for his arm, like, that wouldn't have surprised me coming from Orobuchi.
I mean, Kai's hand should be gone, again, unless it was just the toe that was in his hands. And that means that, the water that shoots out of the heel would have missed. If that's the case, his hands should be fine. Shin's other leg, though, should have a hole ripped through it. That one you can't get away from. It shattered his other leg. All right, the metal one. So yeah, the regular leg should have had a hole torn through it.
So what do they do with the leg that got destroyed?
Shin's just, standing on the last bit of area there and is like, go on, Hibiki, you can do it. I don't know how the fuck they got Shin down from here with his busted leg, but,
Yeah, and at the top of Tokyo Tower, time is stood still from 5 years ago.
Or at least an image of it.
Yes.
Because the minute Hibiki actually touches something, in this case, his, 5-year younger self, it all just disappears. Like a ghostly image is gone.
Strange.
Yeah.
They all have that? Like, they...
Hold on. I got the Hibiki quote here, or the Shin quote here. He says, I could never make it, but you can save her. So what does that mean? That's a very weird line to give. It was one thing if it was like, I never made it to the top, but you can do it, Hibiki. But he makes it sound like he was trying to save someone before.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird line. Assuming it was translated correctly, it is a very strange line. So apparently what we find out here is that 5 years ago, Hibiki had overheard the song, right? This is something that we knew about. He had mentioned it at the very start. What we didn't know was that apparently the one bubble that must have responded to him, which I believe was Uta, or at least we're led to believe that, went to like meet his hand that was pressing up against the glass, and she went to like touch it from the outside as her bubble self. And for whatever reason, that made all the other bubbles mad.
So
And it caused the explosion.
So Hibiki pissed off the entire bubble population.
Or, you know, the one other bubble population, because we only really see two, and that's supposed to be Uta and her quote-unquote sister.
Which may have Little Mermaid references.
It's
Because
definitely a reference, but I don't know how it makes any sense that it's only two of them, nor how two of them had gotten there.
Name Ursula or something.
no.
I don't know if Ursula was ever in the original, or if that was just straight up a Disney creation.
Oh, okay.
Because I know in Ponyo, which was based on the Little Mermaid in some bit, Ponyo's father was saying, like, no, you can't be with humans. So maybe this is a part of the Little Mermaid where Ariel's sister was like, no, you can't be with humans.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know why. Why are they even here to begin with if that's the case, you know? Right? The actual reason the bubbles are here or how they got here should play a way bigger role than like the nothing it ever gives us.
Yeah. Very weird.
Yeah, I feel like, and Uta should probably be aware of it because she knows it's her sister, quote unquote, that's calling to her, and that she has to, quote unquote, stop her. Don't know what that means. But yeah, we see like a weird shadow Uta being formed that's holding regular Uta in place in that like weird Sauron eye flower thing at the center in a new bubble that's there. And Hibiki's like, I'm gonna save her, I'm gonna get in there. And he tries to get close, and as he's getting closer and dodging like red bubble after red bubble, eventually he gets caught inside of a massive red bubble and is being drowned inside of it. And Uta sacrificing her, well, for one, her life at this point, and two, whatever the fuck the sister was trying to do, because I honestly am not very sure.
Yeah.
Because like she's holding Uta's like arm in like the lower arm, right? Or the right below the wrist. And like holding her in place. I'm trying to see where the other hand is grabbing, but I can't tell because she doesn't have that arm anymore, so I don't know what it's holding.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she breaks away, losing the one arm, and goes to save Uta again, and knocks him out of the big red bubble that's drowning him.
And she starts turning into bubbles.
Of course she is, because she's touching him, which, you know, of course, makes all the sense in the world. And she looks very content.
And then they kiss.
And then Hibiki wakes up, and he starts doing parkour throughout the top falling Tokyo Tower, dodging giant red bubble laser things, I guess it is. I don't know.
Any cool music while this happens?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Very good music. Very good music.
Just Eye of the Tiger, and then...
Yep. The giant bubble over is popping. Uta's putting out a bunch of shaped bubbles to counter the red malevolent bubbles.
Yeah, and
water, you know, and Uta gets dragged up with Hibiki out of the water, and she's like half bubble now of what's left of her body.
Hey, I'm glad I met you. You made me.
Yeah, she throws the same line he gave her back at him. Of like, meeting you made me me.
And then she turns into all bubbles and disappears.
And Uta cries. However, it seems like all of the shit that was going on in Tokyo has now dispersed, and Uta, I guess her consciousness overtakes whatever her sister was doing,
Maybe?
Mhm.
because all the red bubbles now turn blue. And now I think some of them are starting to hear the song because they seem to react to the sound of it. Like Makoto specifically seems to react to the sound of the song because she even realizes that it was Uta that became Bubbles. We got a shot of Bubbles falling all over the world again.
And this
Those other
time
shit.
they're unflooding Tokyo?
I'm guessing yes, because the bubbles, they're not completely gone, but there are a hell of a lot less. So I'm guessing the consistent flooding is receding now.
This means no bubble parkour.
There's still bubbles here. Not a lot, but there's still bubbles.
Yeah. So the parkour is still happening, and it seems to be
As
more...
Tokyo is being rebuilt too, so they're running through like construction areas and doing parkour there.
So it seems to be more of a event now,
Mm-hmm.
since there seems to be actual crowds there.
Well, hey, look, the one good thing that the Grave Diggers did, or whatever they were called again,
Undertaker.
The one Undertakers did was, get it out there, get it for people to see and enjoy. No dirty tactics needed.
Yeah.
And we have a bubble that's dancing around Hibiki as he goes, and it has Uta's singing voice, and oh my god, Uta might still be alive somehow.
The end.
So, this is clearly a story that's meant to be built on loss
Yeah.
and trying to, I guess... I wish this was a bit longer to try and at least give us an idea of how Hibiki gets over the loss or comes to terms with it.
What was the runtime on this?
About an hour 40?
Yeah, hour
Wow.
40. I kind of wish it would have been like another 15 minutes or so just to show us how he gets over or copes with the loss, right? Because all this buildup is like the idea of we have a young love that sprouts out and then gets squashed, essentially,
Yeah.
right? And then the final idea of like we'll meet again at some point or what have you, right? The whole thing rounding back around to that whole we were space dust and then we're not, and then we're people and then we're other things, etc., etc. I would have liked to have seen the cycle of him coping with it for the last few minutes,
Yeah.
spiraling into this bit.
Ooh, good reference.
Yeah, good reference, right? Yeah, wasn't even planning on it. But yeah, before getting to the final bit of him, parkouring in this thing again, but him getting like coping with it, finding that coping method, just to really give the full round picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I really enjoyed this because it was Orobuchi. I could have felt it could have been like a few shades darker at some points, but it was also really interesting to see Orobuchi do something that was family friendly.
Yeah, so my two biggest complaints about this are, I guess, three biggest complaints. The inconsistency in how Uta's bubbling works, of why Hibiki doing that without any real reason why no one else is triggering this. My lack of explanation as to what the fuck the bubbles are / came from, or why they're even doing the things they are. And the lack of a scene of some sort of Hibiki learning how to cope with what has happened in the loss. Those are my three biggest missing pieces in this that I wish were there.
Yeah, like, I just wish they would give more about what are the bubbles.
Yeah.
Like, are they a different life form?
That's what I was leaning toward, but that's the best way my brain can make it make sense.
Did they come out of the sky?
They fell from the sky. We don't know how or where. Well, not where, but we don't know how they did or where they came from prior.
And none of these...
Did they actually form normally in the sky somehow? I don't know.
Okay, and nothing to do with the ocean.
Nope.
Not that we know of.
Why they affected gravity the way they did? I don't know.
Yeah, like, we knew there was gravitational anomalies because the trailer shows some parkour
and stuff floating.
Yeah, so we knew that part of it, but the whole romance aspect and the whole, hey, parkour as a game aspect was not really known to us.
It was not even a hint of what was going on with that.
And the movie's called Bubbles, so you just like go to watch it. What the hell?
It's on Netflix. You can find it there.
All right.
Yes, so will you be watching this, Ryan?
I'll check it out. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Animation is really good. Like, I can't shit on the animation. It's really good. The music is really good. I can shit on the missing parts of the story, though.
Yeah, but like, I would say, except for the plot holes, the writing was pretty good.
Oh, for sure. Like, the character drama is great.
Yeah.
I would have also liked to have seen, like, maybe Kai actually gets with Makoto at the end. That would have been nice to see, or at least, she gives him a chance.
Yeah.
Some kind of, movement in that relationship.
Then again, this is Orobuchi, so heartbreak is possible?
Look, man, there wasn't any heartbreak in here. It was just static. Nothing happened with it.
Yeah. Well, Hibiki's heart was broken.
Yes, Hibiki's heart was just shattered. We don't know how he glued it back together.
Oh my god. Next time, it's all real. Everything is real.
What
Man,
the hell is that?
those lizard people, though.
Let me tell you something about lizard people.
Yes, everything is all real.
Can't believe those celebrities are lizard people.
We'll catch everybody next time.
Bye.
Bye.